Good evening and welcome to this extraordinary meeting of Melton Borough Council. This meeting has been called in order to elect a new leader of the council for the remaining of the current term. Evacuation procedures. In the event of having to evacuate the council chambers, please leave by one of the 6 emergency exits around the side of the chamber. Please assemble at the far side at the front of the car park nearest to the park entrance. Officers will be on hand to assist persons who require any assistance. Public recording of the meeting. There is a legislation that allows the public to film, record, or use social media at the council meeting. This must not disrupt the good order of the meeting, nor include any filming or recording of the public seating area. Please switch all phones to silent. Microphones. Councillors and officers are reminded to use the microphones when speaking for the benefit of all present. I will now move on to Reverend Dr. Mary Barr to offer prayers.
Thank you and good evening. I am of course aware that this is an extraordinary meeting of Melton Borough Council and that the need to vote in a new leader of the council at this time follows the resignation on grounds of ill health of Councillor Pip Allnutt, and that this is a painful time in more ways than one for all concerned. But I'm also aware, as you will be, that in different circumstances we might have been celebrating at this time the 100th birthday of the late Queen Elizabeth, and that our current King spoke very movingly about his mother and her dedication to public service, her example of unselfish commitment to the common good. And so in the light of that, I invite you to share a few moments of silence as we hold in our thoughts both the outgoing leader of this council and whoever might serve as a new leader, and all who are affected by these difficult circumstances, that we might look to the future and move forward with renewed commitment to serving the common good. And I pray for healing and new beginnings, once again using those words attributed to St. Francis of Assisi. Lord, make us instruments of your peace. Where there is hatred, let us sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. And this we ask for your love's sake and in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mary Barr. No apologies of absence have been received, so I can confirm we have 28 members present. Item number 2, declaration of interest. If any member would like to indicate that they have an interest to declare, would they please do so by raising their hand? On other registered interest in respect of Councillor Joe Olson is taken on being on record for any matters which relate to the Leicestershire County Council. Item number 3. We are now seeking to select a leader of the council for the remaining of the current term. The process for the election of the leader will be as follows. I will invite proposer and seconder for any nominations first, before any speeches are heard. Once all nominations have been received, the proposer, seconder, and the person nominated will have opportunity to give their speeches for up to 5 minutes. Once all those nominated have had the opportunity to speak, I will then invite any other members who wish to speak to do so. Once all contributions have been heard, we will proceed to the vote. The method of voting will depend on the number of candidates, and further guidance on this will be provided prior to the vote being taken. Once a new leader is confirmed, they will have the opportunity to address the council. Can I remind all members that we are here to elect a new leader and consider the attitudes of any nominated candidates rather than debate the merits of previous leader or any wider matters. Please ensure that any contribution to the debate remains focused on the matter in hand. Okay, do I have any nominations? Well, somebody please. Councillor Clancy.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to nominate Councillor Mike Brown as leader of the council.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder?
Yes, I would like to second that nomination, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Do I have any other nominees? Councillor Childs.
Councillor Ronan Brown.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Atherton, thank you. Do I have any other nominees? I will now like to give the proposers and seconders the opportunity to nominate members to speak. I will start.
Thank you, Mayor. I've got 5 minutes, have I? Starting from now. Right. Thank you for the opportunity to address council this evening. I propose that Councillor Mike Brown be elected the lead. Oh, sorry, should I shout a bit more? Can I start my time again then, as I've had to stop? Thank you. I propose Councillor Mike Brown be elected the leader of the council. I first knew Mike in May 2023 when he was elected as a councillor for Melton Egerton Ward. Since then, I have learned that Mike was born and grew up in Leicester and educated at Wiggerton Grammar School. Can you hear me now? Right, okay. Yeah. Mike worked at Leicester City Council in housing and finance early in his career before leaving to take up a role in what we know now as Unison. Mike has had an extensive career with Unison as a regional co-organiser, working with a wide range of public and private sector bodies, large and small, at local, regional and national level. Mike is no stranger to navigating his way through complex, confidential and difficult situations to reach a satisfactory conclusion. He is also no stranger to local government. Mike does not make snap decisions. He weighs up the benefits and possible disadvantages before making any decisions. Mike has been Scrutiny Chair since 2023. He has displayed these same qualities to provide in-depth scrutiny to Cabinet, where he has demonstrated sound judgment and integrity. In my view, he is the huge attribute to the success of this council and its decision-making process. Mike is a strong member of the team, a team that has delivered for this borough since 2023. And when I say team, I mean members in this chamber who have also supported the administration and officers. Jointly, this council has delivered investment in our leisure centre and Waterfield Pool. UK Shared Prosperity Fund programme exceeded its targets. Farmers' health checks intervention earned national recognition, and also we've continued that this year. With UK SPF, over £330,000 in business grants and £306,000 in community awarded to 51 people supported into employment. Local community groups benefited from grants as a result of cabinet members, chairs and vice chairs voting to donate their special allowances back pay to the scheme. This is a huge success. Advancement of the Stockyard programme, procurement complete and preparations underway. Town Centre Vision and Design Guide providing a clear direction for development and public realm improvements. Culture and Heritage Audit informing our town of cultural bid and strengthening Melton's identity as rural capital of food. Our ambition inward investment strategy to 2023, launched in the UK Real Estate Investment and Infrastructure Forum, has attracted major backing, including 100 million from Saint-Gobain. Business support services have engaged over 100 local businesses with regular business bulletins reaching 500 plus on enterprises. Regular meetings take place. Country Park Action Plan developed with partners will support maintaining and enhancing the biodiversity of the park. Tourism is thriving, with the visitor economy now worth 144 million, a 9% increase on last year. Melton's profile has been elevated through national and international press. We have achieved significant improvements in the Council's housing service, as evidenced in the Housing Regulatory Inspection in 2024. We cannot forget we have local government reorganisation on the horizon. It's important that we consider the best person for this important role. Mike has the experience, honesty, drive, and is competent to deliver this as leader of the team, but importantly, taking the team with him, and that means all of us. Personally, I cannot think of a better person in this chamber who has those qualities to steer this council and successfully manage the transition. A positive vote for Mike will ensure the independent and Labour administration, jointly working with other members in this chamber, will continue to deliver for our borough. Mike is the best person to lead the council to continue delivering our corporate strategy, the things that matter to our borough. I propose that Councillor Mike Brown be elected as the leader of this council for the remaining duration of this current council term and continue should the council's term be extended. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Clancy. I now invite Councillor Cox to second her.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor. At such a challenging time in local government, it's not ideal to be in a situation where we have to consider an alternative leader. Therefore, I am happy to propose Mike Brown, who has been an integral part of the team so far in this combined administration. I've known Mike since I joined the Labour Party in 2019, and I've benefited greatly from his experience and knowledge in local government and being a councillor. Mike has supported me to develop for my current role and has also sounding out ideas and approaches to challenges that have faced the council. He is exceptionally knowledgeable in processes and procedures. This administration, when brought together, covered a spectrum of views within our community, which I would argue is true democracy and what each of us stood for when we asked for change. Mike has also been fundamental in the open approach of this administration, developing and contributing to the working groups where everyone has had a voice. As we move towards LGR, it is essential that all of us as councillors have a voice and are represented in how the new structure develops and current services are maintained. I have every confidence that Mike will allow all councillors to be heard and ensure the open and well-considered approach of the current administration continues. His employment background ideally places him to consider all sides of an argument and not to be quick to comment or judge. As chair of the Joint Staff Working Group, he is very alert to the concerns of the staff team and the changes that face them in the upcoming years. Mike is a man of ethics and will not be distracted or engage with nonsense on social media, instead focusing on the job at hand. He has extensive experience of chairing meetings and formulating an agreed way forward, so will be well prepared to take forward whichever unitary proposal is chosen by government. He has not shied away from the difficult decisions we have had to make around asset rationalisation, and I thank him for his contribution to the Asset Management Working Group, which shaped and informed the decisions of Cabinet. I therefore have every confidence that as a leader he will act in the best interests of our community. We now have a clear picture of what we have in our assets and what we actually need for the future. I thank Councillor Clancy for highlighting much of the good work already completed, but the new leader will now have the opportunity to see much of the good work currently in progress reaching completion. Thank you. That's all, Madam.
Thank you, Councillor Cox. I would now like to invite Mike Brown to speak.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And thank you, Councillors Glancy and Cox, for their nomination and kind words of support. Madam Mayor, I find myself in the uncomfortable position of having to speak about myself, which is not something I'm very fond of doing. But in accepting nomination for the position of leader, councillor are entitled to know something about me, what I stand for, and how I see the role of leader. In 2023, we entered uncharted territory on this council. No one party or group had secured enough seats to form an overall majority. The challenge was to see whether a partnership to form a stable administration would work from people who had stood for election on different platforms and came from different political, or for that matter, non-political traditions. 3 years on, I can say that not only has it worked, but it has worked well. We have delivered a stable administration based on mutual respect between us, inclusivity, and support for one another. All members of the administration have played a part in achieving this, but I think it's true to say that it's due in great measure to the way the role of leader has been conducted for the last 3 years. When you read the job description for leader in the Constitution, it's possible to see it in two lights. On the one hand, it gives the leader a significant degree of authority and to make decisions and act on behalf of the council. On the other hand, it puts great emphasis on the leader as coordinator, supporter, and facilitator of a team. I sit firmly in the latter camp. I believe in teamwork. I believe in the importance of the leader's role in enabling all members of the team to play a full part in decision making. I believe the leader has a duty to support not just fellow cabinet members, but all members in this chamber in carrying out their roles. That doesn't mean I would shy away from the part of the role that involves making decisions. As they say, the buck has to stop somewhere. But I do firmly believe that the best decisions are made after listening to others and including them in the process. Madam Mayor, whilst I may not be fond of blowing my own trumpet, I guess it's not the occasion for false modesty. So I think I do need to address the issue of the skills and knowledge required to carry out the role of leader as set out in the Constitution. Councillor Glancy has referred to my past experience in her nomination speech, so I don't want to repeat all that she's said. But I would state that during my career working for NALGO and Unison, I've worked with a wide range of public bodies and major public utilities at local, regional and national level. I'm used to dealing with senior executives and politicians. I've successfully worked in partnership with those bodies to deliver major change, restructuring and reorganisation. I've been an effective advocate and successful on a range of issues, including legal issues at tribunal and before High Court judges. I'm therefore confident in my ability to represent the council and our residents at all levels. Local government continues to face huge challenges, and I'm proud of what we've achieved as an administration in the last 3 years, despite the difficulties we have faced. Councillors Glancy and Cox have already listed many of these in their speeches, so I won't repeat them all, except because it's a particular passion of mine. I'd like to refer to the huge steps forward and improvements in our housing services, including, and this is hot off the press from last night, reducing the amount of arrears owed to the council from 9% to 3% during our term of office. And I'm particularly proud of the establishment of the Landlord Assurance Board and the role it is given to tenants in shaping and guiding our decisions. And of course, we've made no cuts in services during our time in office. But even greater challenges lie ahead, not least local government reorganisation. We played a leading role in shaping the proposals for the future along with our partner councils, and now await the decision of government. Whatever that is, a huge task is ahead of us. What we need now is stability and continuity, and I'm the candidate who offers that. Finally, whilst I can't claim to be a true-born Meltonian, I'm an immigrant to the town. The decision I made to move here 23 years ago was one of the best I've made in my life. If elected, I would be honoured to serve and commit to doing my best for this council and the residents of the borough which I've made my home. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Brown. Can I now invite Councillor Childs, please?
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. I formally proposed Councillor Ronan Brown as leader of Melton Borough Council. I do so on the basis of his extensive experience, proven leadership and clear vision for the future of our borough. Councillor Brown brings over 25 years of wide-ranging experience in local government, including deep hands-on work within our own communities. He has consistently demonstrated a strong commitment to supporting residents across Melton, from assisting vulnerable individuals in housing to advocating for our rural and farming communities. As leader of the opposition, he has conducted himself with professionalism, integrity and a clear sense of purpose. He has shown that he can lead constructively, work across political divides and maintain a focus on what truly matters, delivering for the residents. As we approach the final year of this council and prepare for the transition to a unitary authority, this is a pivotal moment. Melton requires steady, fiscally responsible leadership that is inclusive and collaborative. Councillor Brown is the right person to provide that leadership, ensuring a stable, effective transition while putting the people of Melton and our surrounding villages first. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Childs. I'd like to invite Councillor Atherton, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As I hope all present here this evening know, Councillor Ronan Brown has many years of experience within both parish and local government as an employee of Melton Borough Council, as a councillor on both sides of the chamber, as leader of the Melton Borough Council Conservative Group, and in the course of his work in the private sector. In the process, he's managed services for vulnerable people, made a difference creating facilities in the town such as the skate park and learning hub, etc., and fostered and maintained working relationships with MPs of both main political parties in Westminster, with civil servants in Whitehall, and with both officers and members of this and other councils in Leicestershire and beyond. In the coming months, this council, along with many others, will face not only the challenges of planning and delivering services while ensuring our budgetary position remains stable, but also the challenge and disruption that local government reform will bring, the latter probably being the biggest challenge this authority has ever faced. As a councillor for a rural ward, he will ensure a balanced approach to the work of this council and to local government reform, thereby ensuring we get the best for all our residents, not just those of Melton Mowbray, which I know is a concern to some in this chamber. It's worthy of note at this point that Councillor Brown has seen firsthand both good and bad results of council mergers and will bring that knowledge and experience to the cross-party team he creates to see us through the process. In order to achieve all this, Councillor Brown will appoint a strong cabinet, using his wealth of experience, provide focus, guidance and direction to it in order to move us forward between now and the next local government elections and beyond, thus providing a strong base for our contribution to the new unitary authority, whatever shape that might take. To quote from members opposite in their election campaigns of 2023, it's time for change. I therefore take pleasure in seconding the proposal to elect Councillor Ronan Brown to the position of leader of Melton Borough Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Ronan Brown, please.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Chail and Councillor Atherton for the nomination. And why I'm the right person to lead this council is I've over 27 years experience working with the NHS, with various quangos, with Whitehall, with the regulator for social housing, CQC, etc. So that goes before it. But I want to set out what I will do in this council if I was elected tonight as the leader, and I think that's important because this is about going forward. The reason I have agreed to be nominated on behalf of the Conservative group, I, like them, feel it is time for change and an opportunity to bring together our group with some other councillors to ensure that the final year, and possibly one more year, if the Shadow Authority allows, leaves Melton Borough and we leave Melton Borough Council in the best place possible for smooth transfer of services. The government has stated it intends to announce in July what the new unitary councils will look like for us. It is imperative that this process of transfer of services is managed smoothly, diligently, and with consideration for the continuation of services to the public, which is key. I'm confident that both I and a strong cabinet will do this. I will also commit to ensuring that all councillors are involved in the changes and processes, as many I'm sure will be wishing to stand in 2027, no matter what political persuasion you are of. I intend to ask for cross-party involvement and work with officers to ensure that adequate resources are available for this and for business as usual. I will also ask to ensure the parish councils are adequately engaged locally and must be part of the local government reorganisation process and in more than just name. With regards to current business, both I and a new cabinet will look to ensure that the basic tasks already committed to are completed, such as the replacement of car park machines, aesthetic improvements to the town centre, the Country Park Bridge, allotments, and the planning service review, which we will be looking to invest further resources by creating savings elsewhere from less prioritised services. In relation to the asset review, our intention is to ask for all existing assets that have not had decisions currently to improve, develop or dispose of, that these are discussed in the new unitary processes to determine if a new council could make them work. I'm a great believer that assets can work and create positive income and benefit to the community, as I, in my current professional role, deal with many assets, leases, procurement and disposal of buildings. There are several strategic areas of concern and opportunity. I would like to state that my position and that of the new administration would be the stockyard project is well underway, so we will ensure that this project is commenced on time and delivered. We'll also carry out an initial review with officers to reassure deliverability. Melton Mowbray College and Theatre. As many will be aware, I and my group brought together interested parties in November 2025 to look at options to keep the asset in the town. Our intention is to work with a group that have progressed the business case, which is in touch and distance of happening. We see the importance of this asset for the people of Melton Mowbray, and we will give in-kind support. We realise this council doesn't have the finances to give capital investment. Doctor surgery. Again, the Conservative group, along with our MP, have been working on an option to bring additional capacity to the southern area of Melton Mowbray town. This is progressing, and we will be talking to officers, whether elected or not, or successful tonight, and we'll instruct officers to add this to the prioritisation list if we are, if I am successful in being elected as leader. Economic investment. We will look at all opportunities currently on the table and work with officers and councillors to explore how we can more robustly support all businesses, both in the town and rural communities, including our farmers. Economic growth is key to the vitality of our borough, and I'm a great believer in this. Engagement with our community. Our intention is to hold more regular face-to-face briefings, Facebook Live bi-monthly, and be more prominent in answering concerns and questions via the council's corporate media and not social media. Councillor engagement. I will reintroduce leader cabinet briefings and questions for all councillors to attend, starting from May 2026. We wish to be inclusive, ensure everyone has an opportunity to voice their opinion. Financial income. If elected leader, I'll be instructing officers to work with a new cabinet to ensure that we have robust methods of collecting and generating income, and so this is fit for purpose for handover to a new authority. We will also commit to not raising fees and charges where possible prior to transfer to a new authority, and we will commit to freezing car parking charges and not increasing them. In this new way of working, we will feel that any opposition should be given the role to lead on scrutiny. So if successful tonight, I'll reach out to group leaders and all independents to discuss that possibility. I'm also willing to discuss how else groups want to be represented and will ensure that an open, transparent, robust conversation takes place. My final message is we want to ensure this council is run with robustness, inclusivity, and works for our residents first. We will look after the finances, do what we do well, and ensure the most vulnerable in our communities are supported, both young and old. I ask you for your support tonight, and thank you for listening.
Thank you, Councillor Brown. We have now heard from the proposer, seconders, and a nominated member. Sorry. We have now heard from the all proposers, seconders, and nominated members themselves. Do any other members wish to speak on a matter of electing a leader of this council and the attributes of those nominated?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As has been stated tonight, we do face many challenges, not least a precarious financial position as we see rising costs happen. We're also going through, as we've mentioned tonight, or has been mentioned tonight, through local government review, the complexities of that and the delivery of a future unitary model. More than ever, we need strong, decisive leadership. Hard decisions have to be made. And at this point, we don't need procrastination. So good governance is really critical. And there is a need, I think all of us agree, for open, transparent, and inclusive governance. Whilst we are fortunate to have a strong and coherent Conservative group, we believe in working together in collaboration across the different parties and especially, as has been mentioned, the parish councils. It is really important that we are able to work effectively for the community who we're all proud to represent. Councillor Ronan Brown has clearly stated tonight his approach: strong leadership, good governance, collaboration, strong local democracy, and good fiscal management. He has at his heart the local community and he has a record of getting things done. He has my full support. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Chubb. Councillor Gordon.
Yeah, I have a question for both candidates.
Sorry, Councillor Gordon.
Sorry, love?
Only to make a statement, not to
Oh,
ask
it
a
is.
question.
Oh, right.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'll just make it into a statement then if I can, and then if they are allowed to answer it later. Right. What I really want to know is because we know we have to have illegal immigrants in houses around England and the UK. I just want to know, really, if from either side, if possible, that would they advocate families of illegal immigrants other than groups of men being accommodated in houses in Melton and the borough, and their general views on this? If that could be answered perhaps later.
Unfortunately, because everybody only gets the opportunity to speak once tonight, there's no way they can answer that tonight. I'm sorry. Councillor Simon Lumley, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just say all the best on your time as Mayor. You've been a very good Mayor and I've heard a lot of good reports about you. So congratulations, because it's been a tough year for you. Right, so since the election in May 2023, there's been a lot of changes. We've had a general election in July 2024, where we had an actual Labour government have come in. Unfortunately, they've treated a lot of people awful, pensioners and also a lot of farmers, absolutely awful. There needs to be change. We've got currently an energy secretary obsessed with trying to concrete over the entire countryside. Applications coming left, right and centre, which we cannot control. We've got legal and illegal immigration completely out of control. HMOs coming into this town on a huge scale. In my ward, Kings Road, by a primary school, housing very young young men that haven't got any ID, have dropped in the English Channel and are being housed there. It's completely wrong, unsuitable. If we're not careful, this is going to go the same way as other parts of the country where we've seen on the news there's going to be huge protests. I've had hundreds of people email me from this town, borough, extremely concerned about this. This back in September 2025, we had a cabinet meeting, Independent and Labour, and they gave effectively the they authorised extra costs, extra funds from central government to house more. Completely wrong, out of control. All I can say is now, whoever the next leader is of this council has got to HMOs, we've got to try to freeze them. I know it's controlled by central government, but we have to protest. This is not suitable. Any more funding from central government for it now ends and stops now. We have also got to have a policy where awful turbines, wind turbines and panels are not installed on prime green belt, grey belt and prime farmland. That has to stop. We need an urgent policy to say where that's going to be. Only on brownfield sites I could support at this time. Other things as well. We've now on our 4th consultation for a town centre refurb. It should never have come to this. We've had plenty of time. I've been on about this since about 2021 and we're still going through. We just cannot seem to action anything on this council. We're now our 3rd year into both our groups and there's still no action. It's the same with the car parking machines, yet another consultation. We didn't need one. We could have just made a decision a long time ago. It's going on and on and on. Absolutely ridiculous. On Monday yesterday, I actually went to my allotments in my ward. I've never seen such an awful state. That is absolutely disgusting. I've emailed several officers in the last 2 weeks here. I've not had a reply from any of them. I'm not happy at all. This council needs urgent change. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Does anybody else wish? Councillor Chris Evans.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And first of all, I'll thank both the proposers and seconders of both sides and the advocates who are trying to become leader of this council. Well done, good speeches. Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. First, I want to make 2 points, very simple points here, because this is a critical piece of history in Melton Borough Council. Almost certainly, unless something changes beyond belief, 2 years' time, it's over. So this is a very important transition year. This isn't a normal situation for Melton Borough Council. This is a crucial time where our residents will need strong leadership to get the best deal when we merge into Leicestershire, as almost certain is to happen. So in this critical period, I look at what we've got in this council and where the strength is. I'll just give you statistics just so you can see them. Conservatives, 11. Independents, 8, plus 3 non-aligned, so that's 11 independents. So that's 11. Labour, 5. Lib Dem, 1. So look at that statistics and see how that represents the residents of Melton Borough Council. You have to go back. When we go away from here, we have to justify the decision we've made. I will say this now to the independents on that side, not the non-aligned because they're not involved. I am so disappointed that you could not find a leader amongst you in this critical phase of the history of Melton Borough Council. Given a leader from the independents, I would have thought about it. But you've gone once again to 1 from 5 now councillors here. There are only 5. That's a real out of 24. That's a real minority group. And that councillor, I'm right in saying, if he becomes leader, and you could, Mike Brown, could pick whoever he wants. That's the constitution. That's how it goes. We've got no control. He's got the control. So you have to think carefully about that and who he's going to pick. The second thing is that in this critical time, rather like a war, but it's not a war, but it's a critical time for this council, we need experience. We need someone who's seen Melton in the good and bad times, who's proved himself to actually change things and turn things around. I am like Simon Lumley. I am very disappointed in the council, that response and the officers and how they're treating us over the last few years. Not acceptable. I phone up continually, no response. It's continual. I go into the offices, no one there. you're not getting the output that residents deserve. I therefore, and it is with heavy heart to a certain extent, because I didn't ever want to get to this place. I didn't want to lose Melton. We're losing it. And I trust a certain councillor to do the best for us he can. And that councillor is Councillor Ronan Brown. When I came here, and I know one of our officers know this too well, our council housing stock was a mess. And when I mean a mess, we got red flags everywhere. Within a few years, he turned that around. That's a dynamic, strong leader who will make this council work again. He hasn't got long, but I can tell you in 2 years, he changed everything in this council in that department. Yes, he had officer help, but that still shows the man and what he can do for this council in the next couple of years. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Evans. Councillor Carter.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I've been associated with this council since 2002, and I've worked with Ronan in the past. And in 1 year, we lost the budget in November to have no money in the housing stock, right? So that's 1 point. Secondly, they've said that they're willing to work with this council. How many Conservatives come to meetings when we have meetings? We had an important meeting last night with housing on the quarterly meeting. Not one of you, 2 people from the Conservatives come to a meeting. We all attended as independents and Labour
Councillor
to find
Carter,
out.
can I ask you
Well,
to
you never
focus
turned
on
up.
the
So how
leadership,
can you be
please?
part of this council? Thank you.
Councillor Butcher.
Thank you. So while we've been under this joint administration, we were one of the only authorities to do the hotspot and problem solving and patrols, which approximately cut the antisocial behaviour by 50%. In about 18 months, we've done 15 closure orders protecting residents from antisocial behaviour. We've moved the CCTV to a better monitoring system, which has given the shopkeepers and people in the town a lot more confidence. We have worked stronger than ever before with Melton Town Estate and Melton Bid. And with this, we have used the SMART scheme and the DIS scheme, which wasn't working before. And this has given great confidence to people in the town, especially our retail workers that felt unsafe. We've done 12 or more closure orders. The opposition, the leader said himself they could not deliver. We are represented the Crime Commissioner and we vetoed so that we could push for more money into our community on the front desk and with policing, which is what our residents deserved. The consultation on car park survey was to give our residents a voice, which is, I'm sure, what we all want. And that is the only reason why that went on another month. Thank you.
Councillor Butcher. Councillor Tway.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think I wasn't necessarily going to speak this evening, but given Councillor Evans's discussion there, I feel as an independent, and as everybody knows, I'm violently non-political and will work with any party that focuses on Melton Borough and the residents of Melton Borough. And that's why, as an independent, I fully support Councillor Brown. And just for, that's Mike Brown, just so there's not any confusion with that. And I'd like to put my full weight behind it. I do so, though, because I am confident. I've worked with Mike since I became a councillor as the Vice Chair of Scrutiny. And therefore, I've actually worked alongside Mike. And I am confident he will continue the collaborative approach that's defined this administration under Councillor Allnutt, and importantly, strengthen it. This has not been an administration that shuts people out. It has brought people in, whether that's opening up cabinet briefings to committee chairs, which is where I've become involved, or creating space for wider input. The direction has been clear, inclusive, open, and collective. People have chosen to go to those meetings or not go to those meetings. And the majority I can honestly say most of the independents are always at the meetings, and there's meetings where there are no representatives. There's a couple of Conservative councillors I commend for actually attending meetings, sometimes when they've been encouraged not to do so. And that matters, all of that matters because of where we are now. We are moving into the final stages of this council's life, which means this isn't the moment for party political point scoring or polishing CVs for whatever comes next. It is the moment to focus. It's to focus on delivering for our residents, focus on shaping what comes next, focus on what is getting it right. And that means stability as well. We need that stability to carry on the things that we've moved. And we have moved. I can see you smiling there, Councillor Evans. But I believe Councillor Mike Brown understands that. And that's why I'm very happy to support his nomination.
Thank you. Can I confirm that no other member wishes to speak, so we can
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I obviously rise to support my colleague, Councillor Mike Brown. He has been a stalwart supporter of this council and conciliator, and I can assure members that when we've tried to reach sensible policies on HMOs and on farming, he has supported me and throughout. This is not a forum for national politics. This is a forum to deliver for local people, and I'm sure we're all aware of that. And certainly, I think the leitmotif of this council has been and ought to continue to be one of trying to reach across all parties and all individual feelings to solve the problems of our community. Yes, there have been setbacks and there have been some failures, and there have been things I haven't been happy with officers and with processes, but we have to keep going. Changing horses midstream is often an error of judgment. And I say nothing about the candidates because that would be invidious, and that's not what we're here to do. We need to complete the task in front of us. And as Councillor Evans has said, this is a huge turning point, a huge turning point. I am absolutely confident that Councillor Mike Brown is the better of the two candidates, not just because of the party politics, but because the actual breadth of experience, the real experience. And I can say that I experienced Councillor Ronan Brown as a member of the public when he was an officer here. And I was not terribly impressed. Not terribly impressed. Well, we are choosing individuals.
Can I ask that we stay not
yes.
personal, please?
Yes, I'm not making it personal. I'm talking about ability. Councillor Mike Brown has vast experience across local government, which is what we're really interested in this chamber. We must deliver this transition and do it well. And with the hand that he's been dealt, I think he'll be able to do that and lead it strongly and involve, as I've suggested previously, Madam Mayor, previous meetings, a much more collaborative and inclusive process.
Remind members, please, that we are speaking about the present, not what somebody's done in the past. It's not what previous jobs or anything else. We are looking at the candidates of what they're doing at the present as a councillor, not as an officer or anything else. It's literally the job as a councillor. Councillor Higgins.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think many members have spoken well. Councillor Lumley, congratulations with how Forest are doing as well. We have to hope they're staying at the moment. And Tottenham probably may be suffering at that expense. But Simon is right. Councillor Lumley is right. is central government is taking far too much away from local government. And Chris Evans, Councillor Evans, and I have agreed that central government and Whitehall is taking too much away from local people as well. It is very difficult for any individual councillor, no matter what political persuasion they have that direction and trust over decision making for the public. And at times, we are rightly held to account. However, this is an important decision because the person elected tonight will hold office of leader for a significant period of time and will be entrusted with leadership, tone and governance of authority, which Councillor Chubb mentioned. I've reflected carefully on where I can place my confidence in the nomination. I do so not lightly and not for any political persuasion or theatre. And my first duty is to act lawfully, conscientiously, and in the interests of the council and our residents. I cannot ignore the wider culture or judgment that surrounds those seeking high office, where there has been an association of any pages or environments and where abusive material has appeared. That is not something anyone should brush aside. When considering whether someone should lead this council, it is given those serious matters that have affected myself, colleagues, and others. To include matters that are ongoing. No. I'm talking about judgment here. To include inappropriate, and it would be inappropriate for me to detail in this chamber. It is important that I have the confidence and nomination of who would provide the judgment.
Can I stop you for a minute, please?
You can, Mayor.
When I ask somebody to stop, I do expect them to stop and not.
I've just sat down.
Yeah, I know, but when I asked first, you wanted to carry on. Can we just concentrate on the focus of today, right now, please, and not of what's been in the past, because we can't change that.
But Madam Mayor, if I may ask, I'm not debating extraneous matters. I'm explaining why, in judgment, any nominee should command my confidence where my vote goes. On that basis, is that out of order? And may I clarify, I've not mentioned any candidates as yet.
I'm just going to pass this one to Clive, please.
If you could turn your microphone off, please, Councillor Higgins. There was a definite inference there about messaging in another context, not messaging in the role of a member. And I think that's something which is outside of the issue before the council tonight.
Hey, may I ask, though, is where we are asking a member of who they are, what they are, and where they're associated with. That is very important for the leadership of this council and where they're likely to take, whether it's a political policy view or how they associate or what they're looking to achieve. That's where I'm coming from. I don't see how the judgment associated with that prospective view cannot be debated here.
This is an issue about the qualities of an individual as a councillor. And if you would allow me to finish, please. This is about the qualities of individuals as a councillor in their role as a councillor, one that is regulated by the council's code of conduct and for which action can be taken. Association outside of the council per se is not an issue that relates directly to that role. In any instance, you would need to show that the person was acting as a councillor and has done something wrong. You seem to be drawing inferences regarding association, which I cannot see have any relevance to this because we're talking about the qualities of individuals while they are performing as a councillor.
Well, I mean, if you want me to place an example, and then you can review that. However, where I'm considering where there is so if I would ask colleagues to respectfully consider this together, where is the support of respectful and safe council culture of what we're choosing tonight? And people in this chamber know of this, and I think that is very important before people vote tonight. And if someone's going to be a member of a racist abuse page or not, I think that's a decision we need to consider.
Holmes.
Madam Mayor, I thought we were here tonight to decide on a leader. That is what I thought we were here for. As you know, I've been a councillor for a very long time. It's never happened before, and I would hope that we now go to a vote. Thank you.
Councillor Clark.
Okay, I wasn't going to say anything tonight, not least because I'm not feeling particularly well. But I somewhat concur with just the latest brief contribution that's just been made. I've been sat here tonight cringing, if I'm being honest, and thinking of all our residents who are either sat in the gallery or watching online. There's been too much in this it's not really debate, but exchange of views, being too much of unnecessary national politics that have found their way into the room, which isn't relevant. There have been some personal jibes that have gone backwards and forwards. I come from a position where I actually think either man could do a good job. I think both men possess excellent qualities, actually. And it's a shame that not more. There have been some, but not more contributions could recognise the good work that actually both men would bring to this. And I say this as a Labour person. And actually, just as an aside, I had experience through the church I attend of Councillor Ronan Brown when he was an officer, and it was a very positive one. That being said, it was no surprise to anybody that my nomination will be for my Labour colleague, Mike Brown. And it's not just for party reasons. When I look at actually what is needed going forward, this critical time of local government reform, and I think of the particular skills that are needed for that, and actually the particular skills that are needed in this room, especially after tonight, someone with a union background is probably not a bad bet to bring people together, to unite the different sides, to tiptoe through the various delicacies, strong feelings, frustrations. I think somebody of Mike Brown's character and background slightly edges it. And that's me being completely honest. I think Councillor Ronan Brown could do a good job. I'm taking all the party politics out of it, and I'm being honest in when I say that. But I happen to think on this occasion, taking my party hat off, or even despite of my party hat, that Councillor Mike Brown, who hasn't been overly involved in personal dramas, who has a union background, who has a strong collaborative history, I think edges it for me. And I just wanted to close our debate on a more healthy, collegiate note to help show our residents that actually we can be grown up in this room and we can exercise a degree of respect for one another, and we can put the residents of this borough first. So whatever happens in this vote, I hope the leader takes us forward in that manner. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Clough. Can I confirm that no other member wishes to speak? So we will now proceed to the vote. As we have more than one nomination for the role of leader of the council, I will now pass over to Monitor Officer to describe the format of the voting item.
Since this is an election of a leader, the Constitution has a slightly different voting process to ordinary votes that take place in the chamber. Put very simply, it's a contest. So rather than in most cases, it's asked a question saying, are you for or against this, or are you abstaining? There will be votes taken first positively for Councillor Mike Brown, then votes taken for those who want to vote for Councillor Ronan Brown. Following that, any person who wishes to indicate an abstention. The criteria on which the successful candidate will be awarded is the majority of the votes cast through that process. It doesn't need to be a majority of the members of the council, and it doesn't take any account of abstentions because abstentions are not votes. So hopefully members are clear with that, but if there is any additional clarification, I don't mind providing it.
Are we all clear on this? Who said no? Councillor Sharp, what would you like to know? Could we repeat that for Councillor Sharp?
There's special provisions in the Constitution for appointment to any position. It's by way of a contest. So what we will have votes first to be cast for those who wish to support Councillor Mike Brown. Secondly, there will be votes cast for those who wish to support Councillor Ronan Brown. And then thirdly, there will be those members who wish to abstain, just to confirm that they are abstaining. And then we take the vote based on the outcome of that. Yeah, and this will be done by a show of hands. Sorry.
Okay, everybody, we will now proceed to the vote. This will be conducted in the using the manual count. So when we express your preference, please ensure that you raise your hand clearly and keep it raised until the officers confirm the count. All in favour for Councillor Mike Brown, please raise your hand. Thank you. All those in favour of Councillor Ronan Brown, please raise your hand. Okay, the outcome obviously is inconclusive as it is a tie. As the mayor, I have the casting vote, and I'm choosing to vote with my first vote, which is Ronan Brown. And therefore, I confirm that Councillor Ronan Brown is the elected leader of the council for the remaining of the current term. I will now invite the new elected leader, Councillor Ronan Brown, to address the meeting.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thanks to everybody who voted for me. What I want to say is that I will announce the cabinet in the next coming days. I need to speak to the officers, etc. But what I do say is that what I did say in that speech I wrote out, I actually do mean this will be inclusive. This will be trying to move forward and work together for those who wish to work with us, etc. And I will reach out to the two leaders over the coming days as well to see how we can do that. If that's okay. I'm not going to go on about it because obviously there's been tensions in the room, which I hoped wouldn't come to that tonight, that we would be more professional. But I thank Mike Brown for putting forward. Mike, I think could definitely work with you, etc. And you know, a very good speech, lots of experience, etc. And hopefully we can sit down over the coming days and have a chat as the same with Councillor Glancy and the unaligned independent members. Thank you.
Mike Brown, would you like to say a few words?
Not really, Madam Mayor. I mean, obviously, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed mostly because I think we've actually broken new ground as this administration. But I hear what Councillor Ronan Brown had to say, and obviously, I'll take him at his word. And as has been the case for the last 3 years, we're about collaboration and working together. And if that proves possible, then we will certainly commit to that. Thank you.
With no further business, I declare this meeting closed at 7:35.
Members, ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for the Mayor of the Borough of Melton, Councillor Siggy Atherton.